Greetings and welcome to the State of Education, Arkansas, at the 5th Annual Reagan Institute Summit on Education. My name is Fred Humphries, and I serve as the Corporate Vice President of U.S. Government Affairs at Microsoft. Today, I am privileged to host a fireside chat with Governor Asa Hutchinson, a governor who is leading the nation in the efforts that Microsoft is most passionate about. Governor, welcome and thank you for being here. The theme of RISE this year, Network, the Quest for Connectivity, could not be more aligned with your work. Even before the pandemic, you were advocating for solutions to empower educators and students with the knowledge and skills they need to succeed in a digital and hybrid world. Your commitment expands beyond learners in Arkansas, as this past year, you have chaired the National Governors Association. And that is where I'd like to begin our conversation. My first question to you, Governor, as a longtime advocate for computer science courses for Arkansas learners, it was not a surprise that computer science, or as I like to say, CS, was a centerpiece of your NGA chairman's initiative. It'd be great if you'd share a little bit more about the progress of that initiative, Governor.
Well, thank you, Fred, and it's great to be with you again and to talk education. And I appreciate the Reagan Institute for its leadership and advocacy for education and recognizing the role of the states. Whenever it comes to the National Governors Association, as chairman, we always pick an initiative. And as you said, mine was straightforward. I wanted to do computer science. Part of it was to tell the Arkansas story, but more importantly, I see the entire issue of technology education as a national security issue for our country. And the reason I say that is that we have over 500,000 open computing jobs in the United States. We have incredible demands by industry that we have software development, cybersecurity, being addressed. All of those functions and leadership that's needed with a skilled workforce in computer science. Now, we got a couple of choices as a nation. We can go overseas and try to import that talent, or we can just simply ship our jobs over there and let American companies hire workers in India or London or wherever to do the IT work for us. And so I don't think either one of those are good ideas. And so I think it's a national security issue for us to develop the computing talent that is needed for our future and for our industry and the leadership role of the state. And so it's natural for the National Governors Association to bring governors together to focus on it, because while it's a national security issue, it really revolves upon the governors to address the problem, each one. And so we're motivating governors. Our goals were very simple with the computer science initiative. One, to increase the number of high schools in the United States that offer computer science. We started out, when I became governor in 2015, I think it was 10 to 15% of high schools in America even offered computer science. Now we're up over 51%. That means, though, that 49% of our high schools are not offering it. We've got to improve that. And so that's a goal and objective. We are making progress. Secondly, we want to increase the number of states that require computer science for a graduation credit. Right now, there's only 3 states, Arkansas being one of them, that has required computer science to graduate from high school. And it takes some time to get there because you don't want to make that a requirement if you don't have the teachers that are there to support the graduation credit requirement. And so we had a head start on that. That's why we're able to make it a graduation requirement, and we have the teachers to support that. But those are just a couple of the goals that we have. We're making progress on it. We've had regional meetings from Denver to Bentonville to Boston and Washington, D.C., bringing governors together to promote it. And the response has been incredible, and we're going to finalize many of these goals and a report on where we are in Maine when we gather later this summer.
You know, Governor, I vividly remember an opportunity to meet your family and meet some of your family. And I met your granddaughter, if I recall correctly. And we talked about, if I remember, I think she had a passion for computer science aspect. And I got to see you interact with her. First of all, how's she doing? Second, is she still pursuing that computer science piece? It's been a few years aspect, if I remember correctly.
You remember it exactly right. Ella Beth, she was 11 years old when I ran for governor, and she motivated me to have this initiative because she developed on a summer with her dad a mobile campaign app that you could volunteer, you could contribute. She developed this. I said, this is something we need across Arkansas. That same 11-year-old is now a sophomore in college,
Oh, wow.
And she knows her computer science. She's not majoring in it, but it's a big part of her career path that she has that background in computer science. Now I've got to brag on another grandson whose name is Asa the Fourth, and he's a basketball player. So I tried to get him to take computer science in high school. There you go. And he said, no, I'm going to stick with basketball. Well, when he got to college, he changed his major, and now he's majoring in computer science. He just got his degree from college, 4-year degree in computer science. And so very proud of the impact this initiative has had even on my family.
You know, as I listen to that and I hear you talk about that, you make a great point as you talk about with your granddaughter on, one of the things you want to see from a workforce skills perspective is those digital skills. But like every job in the future, or forget the future, today requires some type of digital literacy, tech background, CS. So just having her be exposed to computer science makes a difference in the sense of having the requisite skills. I think 77% of the jobs today require some type of CS or exposure to technology. And so as you highlighted those points as you should be as a proud grandfather of both of your grandkids, it's great to hear that, because those are real life examples of the workforce skills that we need. How's it going when it comes to as far as women and or young ladies or girls when it comes to computer science? And because I know that's something that you all have focused on in Arkansas. Any thoughts? I mean, because there's data that shows that sometimes as it progresses, it becomes more, frankly, male oriented. Any thoughts or anything that you all are doing, because you all have been such a leader on this initiative way before others when you became governor in 2015?
Well, it is a critical need that we expand the diversity of those that take computer science and see a pathway for them in the future. And while we have a long ways to go, we have made significant progress. And there's an increasing number of girls and minorities that take computer science, exposed to it, and see that as an opportunity for them. Just to reflect back, of course, whenever we started the initiative, we had 1,100 students in Arkansas, just a little over 1,000 taking computer science. Now we have over 12,500 students taking it. The largest percent of growth has been with girls and minorities. Now, on the minority side, the number of minorities that take computer science really exceed the population basis. So we're doing well there. But on the girls, we've had 1,100% increase in girls taking computer science, but they're still 37, 38%. So it's still not balanced as it should be. So what we're doing is the initiatives for Girls Who Code. We're always bringing into the schools or featuring professional women who have done well in the STEM field. And of course, that shows, this is what you can do in life. And so it's all about real life examples. We continue to feature that. And the teachers are great. I mean, the teachers, that understand computer science, are certified to teach it. They inspire other students or students to take it across a broad spectrum of race and ethnicity.
And as you mentioned the teacher piece, if I recall correctly, I think it's something that you've done in Arkansas as well, is helping, to teach the teachers to make sure they have the right capabilities to teach computer science. Can you elaborate and give us any insights on the winning formula for that?
Well, teachers are the key. And first of all, you've got to lead at a high level saying this is important. This is important for our country, our state, for the students. And teachers always respond to the needs of students. And so when the students start saying, hey, we'd like to take computer science, then all of a sudden, teachers, that might be a math teacher, it might be a language teacher, it might be an assistant coach that says, I think I'm going to take a different career path. And then we incentivize them. So we help pay for their professional development. But here's the key. If you become certified in computer science and you teach that in the classroom, then you are getting an extra $2,000 stipend for 5 years. And we've continued that. And so that extra pay makes a difference because it's a career change for them. They're shifting from what they're comfortable with to what they know is needed. And so we've gone from fewer than 50 teachers certified to teach computer science to now we have over 650. That's a huge increase. And because of them, we're offering greater quality, more languages in terms of coding, and the students are having such great opportunities because of the teachers.
That is great. And as you've done this, what's been the response from parents, and what's the feedback you've heard from parents when it comes to, to the students who are like enrolled in computer science classes within the state?
Well, they're very supportive of it, and they understand the importance of it. But this is a generational change, and so the parents can't help the students very well with their coding. They are not digitally literate, and so it's a gap there. But the parents are largely supportive and see the opportunities that it brings. I also think in terms of our competitions. We have a coding competition, statewide coding competition, which we give really significant cash awards for the students who win. They're very difficult challenges and problems that they have to solve working together as a team. And we had, 20 high schools there in this statewide coding competition. But I looked out there and I didn't see the same number of parents at the coding competition as I see at the Friday night football game. And so, we've got to really encourage the parents more as to how they can engage in it and come along with it as well. And they do, they're supportive, but there is a generational gap there.
I was talking to a colleague of mine as was telling me about the coding competition, the competition that you have in Arkansas, and that how you give scholarship dollars to the students. And she was there at your recent coding, fairly recent coding competition. And she just said you could see the joy among the students, but as well as the parents. And there's nothing like that. I mean, that just helps to get one excited about like, wow, I did this, and to be a part of that.
I just want to add that your partnership helped make that happen. The support financially for that coding competition. So thank you.
Wasn't bringing it up for that purpose, because there's a lot of companies that are a part of that and supportive. And I know code.org is another one that's been a great partner in the state of Arkansas. And, also just want to just applaud, if I recall correctly, I think you were one of the first states, if not the first state, to require the computer science class aspect. And I think that's just I hope people can appreciate how important that is, just to have the opportunity to be exposed to take that course is so important. The first, the first step of like, I might have an interest in that, and realize that it's not as hard as one may think. It may not be easy, walk in the park, but something that one needs. And that's quite frankly, that was, you were leading quite strongly.
Well, let me talk about that for a second, because you mentioned that students have to be exposed to the breadth of opportunities in computer science, whether that is a cybersecurity area or robotics, or whether it's the strict IT functions or coding. And so whenever we first started the initiative, we had fewer teachers and we were growing it. And so we required it to be offered in the high schools, but it was still a decision that students had to make.
Right.
And so how do you encourage students and give them the exposure to know that it's important? And so I went to over 70 high schools and held assemblies as governor,
Oh, wow.
featuring coding as the opportunity. I was the marketer. I had to market this. And of course, Arkansas is still a rural state. You're going to small town America, and it's a farming community. And, some of the students early on just sort of rolled their eyes. But as we presented the videos, as I described the importance of it, it caught their imagination, and the superintendents as well. So it's critical that we continue, even though we've made great strides in this, we have to use industry to understand that we got to expose students. You've got to work with the schools and partner with them. And it takes leadership both nationally and at the state level. So we tried to set an example here, and it proved to be successful.
As I hear you, you're the chief executive for the state as governor, cheerleader, chief marketing officer, chief different areas. What has been some of the learnings since you've really been on the forefront on this, is that you could say, hey, advice as you try to expose students? Because one of the things is that there's still, I think, I'll call an opportunity that for us to continuously to improve of figuring out how do we get kids to just at least explore it. They may not go major in it, as you were talking about, as you talk about family, but just that exposure, because it really, for us to continue to be this leading country in the world on technology, we have to just continue to feed that pipeline of jobs. And you hit the nail on the head from the cybersecurity jobs. They're going to be here today, tomorrow, and in the future. But I'd just be curious if you have any thoughts on that, of lessons learned.
Well, the first lesson is that as soon as we introduced this and required it to be offered in high school, the immediate question was, you need to start in grade school, and you need to start in the lower grades. And so that was a lesson learned, but we quickly adapted to it, and we developed the curriculum K through 8 that would integrate STEM, integrate coding into the curriculum. We gave teachers that were brought teaching a whole host of subjects to be able to integrate computer science into their curriculum. And so the students then would be growing up with it. It comes natural to them in the lower grades. I mean, they're using their phones, they're all over the internet, they're learning that way. And so this is natural to them, but they have to make the connection with that iPhone with somebody who's creating the software that's telling the computer what to do. Making that connection inspires them and opens up doors of opportunity. I tell a simple story that my daughter and I went on a field trip, or we went on a road trip, stopped by a diner. They wanted a picture of me with the governor, and my daughter was there. And I had the picture, and I thought it was such a great picture. So later I told my daughter, I said, we want to post this picture. And she says, you can't do it because I don't have makeup on. And I said, well, I really want to do it. So she then downloads an app, takes the picture, and uses a software to put makeup on, and then we post the picture. And so illustrating that to the students is just magnificent. I mean, they can see the applications, and that's the steps that we took.
You know, I have to, I work for a tech company and, get myself in trouble. I'm always amazed at what's all going on in the tech space of just the evolution of different things. And one of the things that again, you talked about with your granddaughter, that just, building an app, and you get those skills, the barrier of entry to be an entrepreneur is so low. If you get those different skills, and you can just do so much, and we're still in the early infancy of just more and more things that you can do on if you get the right STEM skills to move forward. I think you talked about it, but I just wanted to raise another question. As you expand computer science opportunities for K through 12 students, is an essential part of filling job openings in the field and maintaining America's economic competitiveness. During the past several years, we have seen the number of older, non-traditional students increase rapidly in the United States. Has Arkansas provided any educational opportunities for older adults to gain computer science skills so they can enter the profession? If so, could you talk about those programs? Really, those programs that would be geared towards me? No.
No, it's really critically important, and because it enhances their skills, it enhances the adults' opportunity to advance in the workplace. And so we have at our University of Central Arkansas, the Arkansas Coding Academy, and it is designed for adults, those that are already in the workplace. And so that's geared toward them. We have other IT workshops that are geared toward adults in enhancing their skills. So we need to do more. The other thing we've done is for scholarships, that we have a two-year college scholarship program for high need industries and skills, and one of them being computer science. We made sure those scholarships are available to non-traditional students, somebody in the workforce that wants to come back. But let me pick up, Fred, just as you mentioned, the difference it makes in our economy. I wanted to mention two things that has been a pleasant surprise to me. I thought we were going to be teaching skills to young people that they can go out and get a good high-paying job, but you're also creating a set of entrepreneurs that have that mindset. And a certain percent of those students are going to say, I don't want to work for a big tech company. I want to create my own world. And they're going to create their new software, and they're going to be able to market that. And those entrepreneurs are what's going to fill our economy in the future. And we've created in Arkansas a micro system of small tech companies that either come here or they arrive out of our talent. And so that's been an unexpected pleasantry because of this initiative, as well as providing the needs of our existing industry.
That's outstanding. And I think what you're doing is just really helping to create like a pipeline for those to go on to schools in Arkansas, to continue that. And that, helps you have one great company, as well as, a few others. I mean, you got Tyson's and you got Walmart. I'm a big Walmart and Tyson's. I love chicken and a good Walmart store. But it's a great pipeline for those type of entrepreneurship activities and attracting businesses when you have a skilled workforce. I guess, is there anything else that you might want to just kind of share from other lessons or other aspects? And in addition, when it comes to the governor's initiative, how's it going with other governors on this? Or any insights of just any best practices that you've seen out there in other states?
They are really kicking it in gear. Every state is moving to enhance computer science. Sometimes it varies from state to state, but I've really been impressed with the response, the excitement, and understanding of the need. And I did want to share one more final thing, though, just about our future. We right now have supply chain shortages. We've got to fix our supply chain. We've got to increase the flow of goods. How do you do that? Whenever you have a shortage of workers, we're going to have to automate more. We're going to have to use autonomous vehicles. We're going to have to use drone delivery. And so we have set up a council on future mobility, exploring the future opportunities and the barriers for new modes of transportation. And it all revolves around computer science, software, IT, and those functions. And so it's an exciting future. And to be able to set the stage for that through computer science education, entrepreneurship, technology, and transportation is a great opportunity for our country.
And when I think about that, one of the things that you've always done, I think, as a best practice, you engage the private sector. You're looking at for those public-private partnerships. What would you say to us in the private sector? What else that we could be doing to be supportive of governors and at the state and local, so that we're doing what we need to do to make what I think is just an outstanding initiative? Yeah, it's in our space, STEM we love, but just what else that we could be doing to be helpful and supportive?
Well, you're absolutely right. The private sector is key when it comes to technology. Government needs to stand out of the way, concentrate on our workforce and skills development, and partner with them. But the private sector is the source of innovation for the future. What I think is important for our private sector partners to realize is we need you. We need you to help support our kids in the classroom, to showcase what your company does, what your technology does, so that they can be inspired and they can see real world examples. And probably most of the private sector folks that are listening says, yeah, I'm willing to help. Well, don't wait to be asked. Go volunteer. Go see your computer science teacher. Sometimes they don't know how to reach out. They don't know that world. And so be there. Just give them some time, meet with the students, showcase what you do. Don't wait to be asked.
Well, Governor, I want to just thank you, one, for your leadership at NGA, two, just for your leadership on computer science. But most importantly, I think you've just been an excellent leader for the state of Arkansas. These last few years with pandemic and how you've handled that and so many other issues, you've been on the forefront. So we're fortunate to have a person like yourself that's making a difference in public service. And so thank you, and keep it up. And glad to have this opportunity to speak with you and be a part of RISE.
Fred, great to be with you. And thanks again to the Reagan Institute.